Well, howdy there, y'all. Yamasaki here, and welcome back to the channel. And today, we're going to be reviving this old Cub Cadet 147. If any of you have stuck around and been with me for a while, you guys will remember the old antique iron hulls. And well, this old 1969 to 1971 International Harvester Cub Cadet 147 just so happens to be one of the beauty little treasures that I brought home. Yeah, as soon as I saw this thing, it was coming home with me. For those of you who don't know what a 147 is, it's one of the old narrow frame models from the early days of when International Harvester built the Cub Cadet lawn tractors. Now at the time when this thing came out, International Harvester had been producing the Cub Cadets for about 10 years. As I stated just a little bit ago, it's a narrow frame model. What that means is the frame is basically made up of 1/8" thick angle iron, and it's straight from the front all the way to the back. Pretty much after the early 70s, the narrow frames became a thing of the past, and this so happens to be the last model produced as a narrow frame, and it's the biggest engine that they ever put in them at the time at 14 horsepower, because it's a 147. And they actually had to notch out the frame here in order to fit the fan shroud. I thought that it wasn't a narrow frame model at the beginning because of this, because I still had to do a little research. I knew about these tractors and the fact that they had a little notch, but it'd just been so long since I'd done research that I kind of forgot about it. But it's still a narrow frame model. It's just they had to notch out the frame just a tad bit in order to fit the big engine. Another interesting feature on the 147 is you don't get a manual lift on it. All you get is an electric hydraulic lift system. That's what came standard on these. You don't have any more arm power to use your tools. If that thing goes, you're pretty much dead in the water. And they also updated the fenders a little bit to a more modern style, a single peat of stamped steel, a little more aerodynamic, I guess. They have some lights on the back. They usually just had reflectors. And then also another badass thing is they also came with disc brakes. The 127 also did as well. As you guys can see, I've gotten a head start on this project here. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long to get running. I put a battery in it last year and it turned over. Those wires were in pretty bad shape though, so I just got done putting some electrical tape over them just to keep them from being bare. I mean, all this that's taped was bare wire. There was no cloth insulation left whatsoever. But yeah, just doing the basic procedure, taking the carb off. Got the tank soaking with some xylene, and I had some nuts and bolts in it. Had to go buy a new fuel line. I tried to find a 1/8" by 1/4" fuel barb, but I was only able to find 1/8" by, I believe, 3/16, and that'll work. It goes in there no problem. It's just a little loose, but hose clamp will solve that problem. Air filter's a little dirty. A little more dirty than I'm used to seeing, but I think we can blow it out, reuse it. I have the carburetor currently in the tank, soaking in some carb cleaner. And yeah, so I gotta take that apart, spray some carb cleaner through it, make sure and blow it out with an air hose, and then I think it's just up to putting it back together and seeing if it works. Yeah, gotta put the coil on. So a couple things we gotta do, but we're gonna see how this pans out. So to update you guys on how this panned out horribly. It's the end of the day. I practically worked on this thing all day, even though it was just basic stuff that, you know, you do with every other machine. So what had happened is when I got this, there was a resistor right here and no coil. And I went on the Facebook groups on the Cub Cadet forums and all that, and they said that this resistor was here because someone had taken the original coil off and put a standard, like, I don't know, square body Chevy coil on here that doesn't have the right resistance, so you got to put this resistor here in order to save your coil. Well, this one is off of iSave tractors, so it does have the right resistance. So I just snipped, see, this wire went to here and this wire went to here through that resistor, so I snipped those and just chained them together right here. And I had forgotten to hook it up, but when I put a battery in there and turned it over, I wasn't getting any spark. And then I saw that that wire wasn't connected to the coil, so I'm like, oh, maybe that's the issue there. So I reconnected it, turned it over, and then turned it onto the accessory position on the key, and this wire that runs from right here on this side of the coil across the tractor right here had started smoking and frying itself. Look at that. It just completely started frying itself, and I don't know what the heck happened. And this wiring is not in the best shape at all. So I'm wondering if I'm going to have to do a full wiring harness rebuild, buy a new wiring harness and rewire this entire thing. I mean, this voltage regulator doesn't look too healthy. These wires don't look too bad. That does not look original. Neither do these. That's not original. This stuff looks original, but then what confused me is there's this wire here, but then it almost looks like right here there's a wire, or what used to be where a wire was coming out of. So I wonder if I short-circuited something. Hope I didn't damage that coil. I don't think I did. At least I hope. But yeah, I went through the carb, blew out the air filter, cleaned the gas tank. I stole the tires off of that 127 over there. Those rims and tires are actually off of this tractor. They're probably the original wide ones, but I wanted these skinny ones with these actual tractor tires, and I do believe they look excellent. I repainted the rims, and I stole that tire off of that tractor too, because the original was also flat and not holding air. So it's got all new tires, it's got a new coil, everything's ready to go on it. It's just I have electrical issues. And I'll tell you one thing, I am not good with electricity. Electricity doesn't scare me, it's just it's really hard for me to understand it. And I'm really trying to get the hang of it, but when stuff like this happens, it's like, ah, man. So, I guess it's going to be another wrap-up, you know, a successful failure. Again, oh man, we're getting a lot of failures, folks. That's 2 down now. Hit and miss engine, and now this Cub Cadet 147. I'm not going to give up on them, but I just don't have time to tear this entire tractor down and, you know, get it running. I want to get it running. It's just going to happen later in the future. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. And Yamasaki out. We'll see y'all later.